It's the best two words in sports. Game 7. We'll have the winner-take-all Stanley Cup Final matchup tonight. Florida, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus. The Oilers, down 3-0, are now a win away from their first cup since 1990, while the Panthers are trying to avoid an epic collapse and win their first Stanley Cup. Coverage begins with The Point. That's at 7 on ESPN2. Special guest alert. And now we welcome in former NHL player, current TNT analyst, Paul Bissonnette. Paul, thanks so much for being with us.
It's an honor. Thank you guys for having me on and also covering the great game of hockey, which has been on an absolute heater this year. One of the greatest regular seasons we've ever seen, and it's been followed up by an incredible playoff. And now we got McJesus in the final and potentially an epic collapse by the Florida Panthers. So it's amazing to see. And once again, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly has been epic. I want to start with McJesus. No, I want to know this. What do the Florida Panthers need to do to avoid the epic collapse?
Well, I think that they need to lock things in defensively again. Like we refer to them as the anaconda chokehold when they get that lead on you, and that's going to be important. Getting that first goal, they are so good at smothering teams, not allowing the middle of the ice, and really winning a lot of the wall work. And that's something that they've gotten away from the last 3 games, as well as Bobrovsky not playing to the caliber in which we've seen the last 2 playoffs. But ultimately, it's the will and speed and size of the Oilers right now that's taken over. It happened at the end of game 3 in that third period. You saw there was a little bit of turn of the tide. Florida ended up closing out that game, but ever since that period, it seems like all 4 lines for the Oilers have just been rolling, and all of a sudden, Florida Panthers don't have an answer. And the one thing, too, guys, is Florida Panthers have played a certain style and imposed their will on teams all season long. This is really the first time you're seeing where their game plan going in isn't seem to be working, where Edmonton has made those adjustments. So let's see what Florida can do in order to adjust to figure out Edmonton. One of those things is the Florida power play, which was clicking at an alarming rate all season long, as well as all of playoffs. But the Edmonton Oilers PK, the penalty kill, has been like one of the best we've ever seen, if not the best we've ever seen. Over 90% so far in this playoffs, and they've made a change, taking off Verhaeghe off that power play, and now putting in Tarasenko in that spot. So they're scrambling right now, the Panthers, and it doesn't look good, and their arseholes are puckered up this tight, boys.
There are times as analysts we see things, and we see things ahead of time where you're feeling like this. This is all they have to do. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy, but just do this. And it's relatively predictable what the outcome may end up being. What I'm asking you is, looking at the Edmonton Oilers, seeing what they've done and how they've turned this around, how surprising, even, or dare I say, shocking has it been to see them overcome this 3-0 hole and tie this up and force a Game 7?
Well, I mean, it's clearly shocking, but if you go back to after game 3, like the post-game comments and just reading the body language of the Edmonton Oilers, you got a sense that they didn't believe that it was over, that they thought it was there. And if you go back to the first game where Bobrovsky stood on his head, there were times in the first 3 games where Edmonton did control play. So a lot of things have obviously had to go right, Stephen, in order for them to get themselves in this position. For me, probably the biggest component outside of McJesus and Draisaitl is the bottom 6 for the Edmonton Oilers and how much they've helped create offense and provide offense. And it's finally really clicking, where that seemed to be kind of the MO about them, is like they have this high-end offense, but they don't really have the bottom lines to follow it up. And that has not been the case. So going back to Florida and you know how they're going to have to overcome this mental situation that they're in, that they seem to be. I think getting the first goal and really calming things down is going to be so key in that game, game 7, because if you look at the last 3 games, it's been Edmonton who scored the first goal, and then as well as 2 of those games scoring a power play goal. So getting off to those big starts for Edmonton has been key. Florida has to find a way to keep that crowd in it and not get stunned early.
Paul, who's the most important player not named CMD?
Outside of Connor McDavid?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say that for the Oilers, it would be Leon Draisaitl, because if you look at worldly talent, he's easily in the top 5 and it looks like he's been a little bit injured in this series in particular. But last game, he finally had his jump, and that's the pass that he made to get them going on that first goal that you just witnessed. So when both of him and Connor are playing at that top level, it makes for such a hard 1-2 punch, because sometimes in the regular season they would play together, but all of a sudden you split them up, and it creates a way bigger headache for other teams, especially like Florida, where they do have an incredible top line center in Sasha Barkov. Like, he is a world-class two-way player. And then on that second line, they have Sam Bennett. So Sam Bennett's a great player, but he's also no Leon Draisaitl. So for me, obviously Leon's going to be important. So go the other way with Edmonton, it would also be Stuart Skinner, who has struggled early in series all playoff long, but his numbers through games 4 to 7 have been remarkable, top probably we've ever seen. And he has seemed to have found his mojo ever since in the second round, where he was actually a healthy scratch. They put in the backup because he was struggling so bad, to the point where he had the worst playoff goaltending numbers in the history of the NHL. So he got that mental reset, and ever since he's been tremendous, making incredible saves, really frustrating Florida's offense. So outside of Leon, I would definitely have to say Stuart Skinner. It has to be his game in Game 7.
Many, many years before this dude McJesus showed up in Edmonton, there was a dude by the name of Wayne Gretzky, known as the Great One, that was doing his thing out there. I want you to tell us, what has it been like for Gretzky watching this guy be the star that he is, for Gretzky's old team, and having everything, and I mean everything, but a Stanley Cup championship?
Well, first off, it's been an absolute pleasure working with Wayne. Like, guys, I was a fourth line plug. Like, I never thought that I would find myself in a position where I'd be sitting next to Wayne Gretzky at a desk. And just like, it's not even being at work with him, it's being away from work, and just the hockey knowledge and how much he cares about the game, and how he's the ultimate ambassador. And it's, like I said, it's just been a whirlwind for me. And also to get to pray this information off of him nonstop about, like, have you been talking to Connor? What have you said to him? And obviously there's a massive passing of the torch in the fact that he was this prodigy coming into the league, but the fact that he also ends up with the Edmonton Oilers, where Wayne Gretzky was, it seems like surreal that it ended up taking place that way. So I know that, especially in the hockey world, guys, like Connor McDavid will easily go down as a Hall of Famer, maybe a Mount Rushmore guy. He might even already be there to some. But in hockey, I don't think your career is fully solidified until you win and hoist that Stanley Cup. And I think Wayne knows how important this is to Connor and where exactly his focus is at. And I just know that he wants him to bring it home. And given all the work and living up to every single expectation this kid's been put to, would be a remarkable one, and one good for the hockey world. Now, I'm not going to show my bias, though. I just want a good game, Stephen A., and I would love to see this go into overtime.
Wait.
But
We're not going to get a pick from you, Paul? We're not going to.
well, I'll give you a prediction
Give me
if you
a
want one
prediction.
right now.
I want the prediction
Well,
right now. Yep.
Well, I've been saying for majority of the season now, it's been the greatest NHL season of all time, and it would just be fitting that this one does end up going into overtime. I think it's going to be a 4-3 overtime win for the Florida Panthers. And I think that Oliver Ekman-Larsson is going to score the OT winner, a defenseman I played with the Phoenix Coyotes. So I know some Edmonton fans watching are a little disappointed right now. I would love to see the Stanley Cup come back to Canada. It's been 31 years. I'm a Canadian. And I think Canadians just would like to see it back on home soil, but ultimately we're going to have to play this game out and see what happens.
Absolutely. We can't wait. Game 7 tonight. Stephen A. is going to be there with the commissioner. Paul Bissonnette, appreciate you doing a great job on TNT. Have fun tonight, and hope you get to get some rest, vacation, after being such a road warrior the last 3 weeks. Great to have you.